All right, we should be live, Mr. Stash, friend of the show.
Yo, what is going on, BitBoy
Not
and the
much, man.
BitSquad and the Stash crew? They're all hanging out together today. That's cool, right?
That's 100% accurate, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know if people know that we're really good friends.
Maybe I would. You're right. We
Wait.
talk
Are you
about
saying maybe we're good friends or maybe they may not know?
it. No, no. I think maybe they don't know that we're
We are
friends, but
friends.
because honestly, it's been a long time since we've done a live stream together, right? I feel like we did a
Yeah.
lot more of them in 2018, but this
Yep.
is the first one for this year.
Well, the thing about it is, yeah, I'm checking our audio real quick. The thing about it is that, the YouTube live streaming scene for crypto has really died down. People aren't really doing it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like last year there was definitely a lot more going on. I think that we just need to revive it, man. We need to get our homies back together and get some of those big epic YouTube live streams going on again, like we did in last year. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually supposed to do one today. It got postponed with a couple big creators people would know and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's really just. It seemed like last year, like there was a lot of hope. Like even though the market was down and the market wasn't doing great, like there was a lot of
Yeah,
hope that it was gonna like turn around. And then November hit, and like all the hope was gone. Like that's how you really knew we were entrenched in the bear market. And now that there seems to be more hope and stuff, like hopefully it'll start going around again. And plus, the thing is, and you're very aware of this, I'm sure, there's very few of us that stuck around through the bear market, making consistent content, you know?
this is true. This is true. But the people who did are the top quality people, even though maybe they're not the biggest accounts or the most widely known. I feel like most of the people who got really widely known in like 2017, beginning of 2018, they just kind of like stopped coming around and like, dang man, how dedicated are you? All these people that used to follow you, you just kind of took off on them,
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna do it because of personal reasons or because you're just over it, that's one thing. But to really just do it because you're in a bear market and because now you can't like just use the hype of what's going on around you to make yourself look good, which I feel like what a lot of people were doing.
Yeah.
Oh, things are going crazy. Look, I'm a genius because I said invest in this coin, and every coin is going up. So you look like a genius. And then when they can't look like a genius because they really don't have any skills, they're really not able to educate people properly, then they just take off because they're otherwise they're either that or they're just saying, hey, send me like a bunch of XRP and then they exit scam your ass. I don't know.
Well, look at somebody like Crypto Crow. Let's talk about our buddy Jason for a second. Like he really slowed down on content a lot over the last several months.
Right.
But here's what people don't realize, and we know because we're working with the BitBus is that he's actually building an exchange. He's actually already built it, so
Yeah.
he's kind of moved on to like a different level of crypto business. So like he slowed down
And
on
that's cool.
content, but at the same time, it's like he's still doing things positive in the space, and I think that there's a lot of people like that. But I mean, for you and me, I mean, I think we're more pure content creators. Like I will always create content. Like this is what I like to do. I like to get out. I like to talk about crypto. I call myself a crypto evangelist / IOST evangelist because I love telling people about it, and I think I'm always going to want to do this. Now, there may come a day where, I'm the most famous person in the world, obviously, due to this crypto channel. Duh, everyone knows that. And, I may not do as much content as I do now, but I'm always going to create content because it's fun, something I like to do. And I feel like I was born for this.
I'm the same way, man. I got into this because I wanted to help people. I really, I'm a big proponent of the educational side. I was running classes here in my local hometown where it's like, aimed at older people too, like an older generation, because they're the ones that have a little bit more trouble, I think, learning online. And so, my whole thing has always been about education, helping new people come into the space, understand the basics, even if they're not tech savvy, and so that's what I really focus on. And that's needed. It's still a huge thing. And so you have all these people who are like, oh, things are slow. And like, yeah, maybe there's not as many people coming in, but there's still people who are coming in and they still need some sort of, quality guidance. And so that's what I try and, do and keep up with the content and focus on really cool reviews and stuff. And so I don't know. Yeah, everyone has their own kind of angle in the way they're doing things. You're right. Some people have kind of transitioned onto doing bigger projects and maybe they've moved away from the content creation, which is fine. Me and you are definitely working on projects. We got the crypto bit bus coming up,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is one of our collaborative projects, right? I'm actually,
It's going to be fun.
it's been a lot of more work than I thought it was going to be, dude. And even though that's been the case, and it's taken more time of mine than I really wanted to give, I'm actually really excited to go do this. So, I mean, I don't know about you. How are you feeling about this trip? We're getting close. We're getting really close.
Yeah, man, I'm super excited about it. People are saying my volume is low. Most likely, this is due to the fact that I am here I turn them all the way up. That I don't have my AirPods. So I lost my AirPods, guys. I cannot find them. I cannot find my AirPods. I lost them at about 3:57 according to my phone. So the audio is not 100% perfect today, but that's okay.
Dude, that's half an hour before the stream.
No. Eastern time.
Oh, Eastern time.
Eastern time.
Okay.
So 3.5 hours ago, I lost them. So that's why the audio may not be perfect today, guys. So, apologize about that. But yeah, I'm super.
My channel and the audio is perfect. So
You guys go to CryptoStache's channel. Go to his channel. I don't need y'all here. I love y'all. I'll send a postcard. But, I try to push people to your channel. I even told somebody to vote for you the other day. Did you see that?
I saw that, man. Dude, seriously. Right here, brother. I saw that and I was like, oh, wow, I can't believe you do that. That is just so sweet, dude.
So
I really
sweet.
appreciate that. You're a sweetie.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know what? The thing is like, it's all about helping each other, like,
Yeah.
and I try to live that,
You're crushing it.
What's that?
I said, me and you are crushing it, man.
Absolutely. For sure.
Like, from both angles, we both have our own crowds, but there's a little bit of intermingling, which is great. But I think that in general, when I look at the kind of content that's coming out for IOST, like, we're putting out some of the best, highest quality stuff.
Yeah.
That's English speaking stuff. There's obviously some people out there doing different languages, which obviously we can't really. I don't know Mandarin.
And I was actually I was on the Subtler Ventures podcast today.
Yeah.
It's not out yet, but we recorded it today, and you got some guys like Subtler Ventures that's an IOST node, and then you have the Inside IOST podcast, and those are great podcasts, and they're really good for the IOST community. Like the Inside IOST podcast, like they do a lot of tutorials and like stuff that's really top notch. But at the same time, like, we're out here trying to go outside of the community to bring people into the community instead of, like if we just do IOST all the time, then we're going to be really niche. So, I think both serve a good purpose. And I think it's important for, me and you and Beatles are really, I think, the only people out there really making content for IOST. So that's getting seen.
That's not true. I know one more person.
Who's that?
And you guys may also know him. He's famous for his BitConnect connections, and that is none other than Trayvon James.
Oh, is he? He has a node, but he makes some content on the dApps. He has a node on the system. Has he got some votes? Is he elected?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm gonna go look right now. I think he is.
Last time I looked, he had like 100,000 votes.
Yeah, I barely see him. Doing stuff, but I think that maybe he got elected. Let me go.
Wow, he may have elected himself, which you can do.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, who knows? I'm not going to sit here and trash him. I mean, if you watch his videos, like he's got, the bad thing is like there's the stigma that's going to be attached to him in the community forever. He's not going to ever be able to run away from that stigma from the BitConnect stuff. But, he does some good stuff for IOST, in terms of showing like how to play dApps and things like that. So I'm not going to sit here and trash the guy. I probably won't do a collaboration, but he did have me on his channel one time in the background when he searched for something on Google and one of my videos popped up. I snuck attack him.
But I can't find the node now. Maybe it's on this.
I think it was called like BTC Trayvon or something on there, or IOST Trayvon, something like. Anyways, but yeah, back to the BitBus. So really excited about this. So we're leaving here in a couple weeks. I'm flying out to LA. I actually booked my flight today. I'm going to be there on Saturday at 8:59 a.m. And then my boy J Chains is coming in at 9:02. So we're going to be like right there together. We're going to make a sweet video for the podcast, an intro video for that. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to hang out with you, obviously. Going to hang out with Andy from the Coin Boys. Got to, hang out with Brecky while we're there. Monday morning, we're heading to San Francisco. That's going to be a lot of fun going to the conference. And then Wednesday night, I'm flying out, booking my flight to Las Vegas to play in the WSOP. So I'm going to be in Vegas from Wednesday night to Monday, July 1st. So if you guys are in Vegas playing WSOP, come hit me up.
Are you flying out of San Francisco?
Yes.
Okay.
It was literally a $60 flight.
That's cool.
I was really excited about that because I like cheap flights.
Yeah, I mean, this bus thing is pretty cool, man. If you're in LA and you haven't checked it out, definitely go to cryptobitbus.com. We still have a couple of seats left, but basically it's a bunch of people from down here and a couple other friends that are flying in, and it's a community building road trip. Essentially, we're just going to road trip it. We're going to do some fun things on the bus. We're going to talk crypto. We're going to do some live streams with some people on the bus maybe we don't know. We're going to be doing some trivia with Sense Chat, and we're going to stop along the way and have some lunch and see if we can spin some Bitcoin.
Oh yeah, I got this new card. It's called the Block Card. It's by
Block card.
Yeah, it's by Turnio.
Yeah.
If you don't know Turnio, they're actually a local Atlanta project. They have an office here in Alpharetta, which is pretty close to me. So I'm actually going to interview them on Friday this week, and I'm hoping they're going to load some Bitcoins up on my block card. That block card is a super exclusive thing. They're only rolling out 700 of them. So I got a couple of people. You're getting one, right? Possibly. You don't know for sure. You're probably getting one. I know that J Chains is getting one. Did you turn in all your stuff? Did you fund it yet?
I did.
Oh, you did fund it?
I was the first one to tell you that I was funded.
Oh, okay. Well, then I sent it to him. That's sent to him.
Yeah, you have to put. Okay, so that's the only thing that I'm like a little while is you have to put at least $100 worth of crypto on it, and then anything above 100 is what you can spend. And so it's like you have to keep a certain amount locked. And I get that, but I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't go by the way that some of these other crypto cards have gone, where they are around for a little while and then they peter out because they don't work or something happens. Like I had a Shift card for a long time, which was through Coinbase, and that Shift card was great, but then they discontinued it earlier this year, and I'm sad.
Well, and you're right. The thing about that, obviously, it is, you have to load it up with $100. It's got to stay on there. However, look at that. You're so funny. It's literally like on your stash. But the thing about it is that it was better when you did it on accident. Is that when you put $100 on the card, you get $100 worth of Turnio for that $100. So while you have to keep on the $100 in Bitcoin on there, you can actually withdraw that Turnio. Now, Turnio is only on a few exchanges.
Hold on.
No, that's not right.
That is not right. What happens is whatever cryptocurrency you send to that card, they automatically convert it to Turn.
Okay.
So I'm looking at my account right now.
So if you withdrew,
it shows your balance in Turn and not in the balance in the actual cryptocurrency you have deposited.
Oh, so if you withdraw that $100 in Turnio, you have nothing in your card.
That is correct.
Interesting. Well, like I said, I'm going to talk to him about all of it.
Maybe I'm looking at it wrong, but that's what it seems like.
Well, I understand that. Why did someone say butt boy? Anyways, I'm going to meet with him on Friday and find out more information about it. So, if you think about it, like, it kind of makes sense because why you would have to have some amount on there, because if you go to spend something, the fluctuation, like, they got to have some kind of buffer,
Right.
So I don't know. I just like the idea, like you said, of having a card. Like, it's pretty fun to think about having a card. And
I want to be in the exclusive club, bro. That's what it comes down to. And what's funny is I looked at this and I've already actually my value has already increased because I put in.
Oh yeah, mine too.
And I have 107 total USD because the Turn price has gone up.
Yeah, I put in 100 and had like 111 like in a day or something.
Yeah.
So now that would be cool if you could put enough Bitcoin in there. Like if you put, let's say you put a whole Bitcoin in there. Like I know that's crazy, but like if you did do that and then the price starts going up, like you can just spend free money all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like I put in 8,000, but I just spend money, and it just keeps going up.
It's still same USD value, but not the same.
It's probably bad economics, but still.
Yeah. I always want to stack them sats, man. I want more Bitcoin, less USD. I always want to get rid of my dirty money, that horrible USD stuff.
Yeah, I know, right?
Whenever I can.
Got to get rid of it. But yeah, so hopefully Turnio is going to load some money on the car. We're going to be able to go out and have some coffee, or either I'm going to be able to buy everyone drinks and watch everybody drink while I have a cup of water. Like, you know how it'll be.
Yeah. We're doing the night out, so I think that'd be a perfect time to use that.
Well, I think that isn't the night out already covered by the sponsorship though? I don't know. Regardless, whatever it would be.
Well, they're the sponsor of the night out.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
It's our night out sponsor. So when we go out, that will be the perfect time to use our Turnio block card.
Yes.
While we're going out, because I think what we're gonna do is this whole trip it's a long trip. It's 8 hours, so we're gonna be hanging out. We're gonna be drinking on the bus. We're gonna be doing crypto stuff. We're gonna do live streams, so you're gonna probably see a ton of us. All these crazy influencers, me, BitBoy, Brecky, Crypto from Crypto's News, Omar Baum, Ken Bosak, and then a bunch of Ryan Calder, like all these friends. There's gonna be so many people there, and we're gonna do these epic giant live streams with everyone on the bus, and so we're gonna have fun going up there. But then we're also gonna be doing things over there. So obviously we have the conference that we're gonna be going to, the Bitcoin 2019 conference in San Francisco. But Wendio is actually hosting a meetup the night we get there. So that's going to be a cool thing. We're going to have a bunch of friends from San Francisco come down to our hotel that we're all staying at and hang out with us and do a meetup. And then the next night, after the first conference day, we're going to be doing a night out, which is sponsored by Turnio and like Prosper and what's the other one? There's also, I don't know, another.
The third one.
There's a third one.
Right.
A third. Oh, and BTC Terminal.
There you go.
Guys that are supposedly going to come out with the terminal here.
Blockchain Terminal?
Blockchain Terminal.
I did not know they were sponsoring.
Yes. So they're the sponsors of our night out. So that's what we're going to do. So after the conference, we're going to go across the bridge. We're going to take a little tour over there. Then we're going to come back to a bar and we're going to hang out with everybody. It's going to be like 30 or 40 of us. You're just going to be mobbing like crypto deep, man. And so I think that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I got Lucia over here in my live stream. She said she's coming. Dancing Lucia.
Lucia, why you on BitBoy's live stream? What?
I've been wondering why Lucia don't come over to my channel. I mean, I thought we were cool. You know what I mean? Sorry, I just doxed her. She's got doxed hard. Sorry, Lucia.
Doxed hard.
I was excited to see her over here.
Actually, Lucia's going to be hanging out with us because she's from San Francisco, so she's probably going to come out.
She's your number one fan. I'm probably number one. She's probably number two. Lucia's cool.
That's true.
But anyways, yeah, so it's going to be fun. So if you are in the LA area and you're interested in going, go check it out, cryptobitbus.com. We're not like, this is really for us to just spend time with our community. This isn't some kind of on Twitter, people are making it seem like we're making tons of money or something. I'm not getting paid for it. So, it's really fun. You literally, if you live in San Francisco, you cannot go to the conference for cheaper than the price of the ticket that we're providing. Because we get a discount for the conference ticket and, you're getting a good deal on the bus trip up there. And we got a phenomenal hotel deal, I believe, also. So,
yeah, I mean, no, you're right. It's a killer deal. The hotel is always the most expensive part because the hotels in San Francisco, we found out, are really expensive. This trip just kind of came out of nothing. We were just talking.
Oh, I know they're expensive.
Yeah, we just started talking about on Twitter, and then I was just like, I'm going to do this. And so I got all the friends together and was like, we'll just have a good, fun community trip. And then we're like, okay, well, we could get some sponsors to help pay for our rooms, and then we'll promote it as the people who are the crew. So we have this whole crew that are helping to get all these things together. So we got goodie bags we're giving away to people with the
BitBoy stickers. BitBoy stickers on the way.
BitBoy stickers. Yeah, there's gonna be we got cool things that are gonna go in our goodie bags, and we got a lot of cool things planned. We're gonna have drinks on the bus. So it's like there's all these really cool things that we're having that are added value to this trip too. So yeah, you're right. Like I think a ticket right now to the Bitcoin 2019 conference is what? It's $250.
Holy crap!
And so a ticket to the Bitcoin conference and the bus ride is only $210. So I mean that's a pretty good value.
So the whole thing, counting the hotel, is how much? $700.
Yeah, everything together is $700.
You can't find a hotel in San Francisco for 2 nights for $700
I mean, you can get
by
like
itself.
A hostel or something, or like a motel. Super
I was telling my friend last night. He said, we're going to Las Vegas and playing the WSOP, and he said, hey, there's a motel right next to the Rio. It's like really cheap. It's like $40 a night. I said, make sure you check the reviews and make sure it doesn't have bed bugs or whatever. Because when I went out to San Francisco, I found a hotel that was kind of in my budget or whatever, and I checked the reviews, and the reviews were like, if you book this hotel, you will get murdered. And I was like, I probably don't want to stay there. And if a lot of you guys remember, I had my most viral video of all time because I got an Airbnb and I stayed behind a curtain. Do you guys remember my curtain video?
So that could be your experience, but our hotel is really nice. It's a swanky hotel called the Americania. Americania.
Is it Ia or Ya?
No, it's Americania, I think. But it's like Americana, Ia. It's Americania.
I like Americania. That's how I'm saying it. I say EOS. So, and I will not change. I think it is EOS. There's no dots between the EOS.
I used to get shit from Sanity, from Crypto Sanity, because I would call it ICOs.
yeah, I remember
and
you guys
like,
got
no,
into
it's
it.
And I had to retrain myself when we did that crypto cake thing, because he was like, do not say ICO. It's ICO, man.
We got Mama Wild Things in the chat now.
Uh-oh.
Mom of Wild Things, you can get an Airbnb closet for $700. That's my wife,
Tell
y'all, if you
Mama
guys don't
Wild
know.
Things I said hi.
Yeah, big shout out to her. She's starting a podcast, actually, and she wants to have Wendy on. She wants to talk about what it's like, the benefits of being a mom and being into cryptocurrency.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's talk about IOST for a minute. We can talk about the bus all night long, but let's talk about IOST. It's funny. Like I've seen a lot of people in the Telegram group this week complaining about the price. Because the price has dropped some, and so I want to give. Well, it's not just the price has dropped. It's dropped down CoinMarketCap a little bit from it was in the early 50s. Now it's in the about 59 today. But I wanted you, because my audience hears all the time from me about what I think about IOST, and I would say you're a little more on the technical side of things than I am, for sure. I can give you that credit, believe it or not. I am capable of giving others credit, and but I want to hear from your side, like what because I know when you first, I actually kind of talked you into coming into IOST, I think, right?
It's funny because it was kind of so at first. I was the first one to start exploring because Beatles had said something to us, and I started looking into it, and I talked to the team first, and then I was like, I'm not really sure, I don't know, and then you were like, hey, I talked, and then you talked to him a little bit after I talked to him, and then you're like, hey, I got some more information on these people, and you related some stuff that I didn't know about, and I was like, oh, that actually interests me a little bit more now.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of like a 1-2 thing, like you jumped on board, and I jumped on board, shortly after you did. So, yeah.
So I know we were both kind of unsure jumping in full force in the beginning.
Right.
I talked to the team.
I never want to commit until I 100% have vetted a project.
Yeah.
And I definitely, because that's what it comes down to. I don't just go and talking about stuff all the time and shilling things because someone pays me or whatever. I do it because I honestly believe in what a project is doing and that they have long-term potential, because that's what I look for is long-term potential and working product. And the thing that really got me with IOST is the fact that they have had one of the smoothest mainnet launches that I've ever seen for cryptocurrency, going from like ERC20 or not having it into launching their own token and having their own blockchain. And when they did that, I mean, they had dApps on their platform almost right away too, which was pretty amazing. And so you look at them compared to EOS or compared to Tron or to some of these other Ethereum. It's just I look at it like the fourth iteration of some of these platforms, where they've taken some of the ideas that some of these platforms wanted to do, and they're already doing them.
Yeah, and I think, it's so funny, man, because obviously I did this really, well, in my own opinion of myself, I did a really cool video when I hit 10,000 subscribers, looking back at the history of the channel and things like that. And I went back and I was going through a lot of my old videos. And, the first video I made with the backwards hat was the first video I ever mentioned IOST, which I thought was, kind of cool. The backwards hat is my brand, if people do not know.
It is. You got to have the backwards hat.
It's only for the green screen. I do have hair. Look at that.
Should I be going backwards hat too?
Yeah, we really have some beautiful hair for some old guys. I got kind of a cowlick that almost makes me look like I'm balding there, but that's actually not true, guys. Look at all this hair.
Yeah, I've been wearing a hat all day, so mine's all.
I always wear a hat.
Backwards hat because BitBoy's doing it.
Well, this is how I used to wear my hat all the time. This was the way I wore my hat, but it didn't work out for the green screen. So for the green screen, the solid color, the backwards hat. And so anyway, so I mentioned IOST, and it's just as I go back through my first videos mentioning IOST, I did a review on them a couple weeks after that.
I watched that.
Yeah. Oh, you have watched it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, I had no idea what IOST was.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, exactly. One thing I said was, this is just another example of a project that sounds great, but will they be able to do what they say they're going to do? And back then, I don't think we're even close to the top 100. And, the thing is since then, they've stayed ahead of the roadmap, which is very, very, very rare. I mean, you look at a project like Zilliqa, a lot of people love. They had to, move their mainnet launch back like 2 or 3 months. I don't know the exact number. That's like just a guesstimate. But, a lot of projects had to move backwards. And, not only do they launch their mainnet on time, but IOST launched their testnet ahead of schedule. They've got sharding ahead of schedule, dApps ahead of schedule. Yep. Like everything's ahead of schedule, and that's how this team is like, putting their nose to the grindstone and doing, really, really big things. And it's exciting. Like, I'll tell you the thing that excites me the most. Like, number one, obviously, I have a node on the system. I have a block producing node now. Like, it's really cool to be kind of on the other side of a crypto project instead of just, a fan that votes. People vote on me, which has been really cool. The community has really embraced it.
You're helping to keep the system decentralized, and that's what is great.
Yeah, and the decentralization is what I'm going to say. Like, it's more decentralized than any other platform. It's not even close. Like, there's, I think, 100 nodes elected,
Yeah.
and there even going to be more. And the commitment of the team to decentralization, I was like, yeah, guys, what's going to happen when, I asked him on my podcast, like, I had CTO Terry Wang on, and I said, what's going to happen when, like, we've all been making doing a lot of work and putting the message out to the community for months and months and months, and then the price goes up and all these opportunists come in and want to start making videos for IOST, and they may not actually, they may just be in it for the money. And I was astounded by the answer. The answer he gave was, that's great. Like, the more people that come in, that's decentralization. We're not going to try to...
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, that's what you want.
Yeah.
And so I think that makes sense. And that's one of the things, okay, when I was talking about earlier, how, that was one of the things I didn't understand about IOST when I first looked at it, was the way that they choose who's producing a block. And so they rotate out people constantly. So it's not just like the same 21 people like EOS has, where it's just like, all right, we have some standby people, but it's basically the same nodes over and over again, or you have a small number of nodes like with Tron, where you have these super representatives. And then, and so, that, I think in general, the way that they do that and how fairly low the barrier to entry is to be a block producing node. I mean, it's 8.1 million votes you have to have, which is, it's doable. I mean, it's not like a cheap amount, but I mean, even at this price right now, it's definitely doable, and committing to it. And so,
100%.
I think that the way that they do that in general really helps with the whole decentralization framework, and to be able to make it open and fair to get more people in, because that's what you do want. Like, you want to have more nodes. You want to have more people that are helping to secure the network any way that they can. And so that's one of the things that really attracts IOST, or me to IOST in general. I mean, that obviously in some of like the sharding and the scaling solutions they have, they've already been pushing dApps. When you look at some of the big dApp platforms like dApp.com or dApp Radar.
Oh yeah, dApp.com is a big one. Yeah, Zombie was talking about it today.
Yeah. They have Ethereum, they have Tron, they have EOS, and then have IOST.
Yep.
Those are the four that every major dApp program now has. And so if you're looking at these dApp websites, I mean, those are the big four now. And so IOST is one of the big four, and it's the most undervalued. And the team is on blazing fire, man. They've been announcing projects, they've been announcing dApps, partnerships, just one after another. And there's so much coming up this summer, guys. So I think that's, some of the reasons why I'm really bullish about them, why I love, the community being involved in it. It's also a very warming and welcoming community is too. Like,
it's the best community. The best.
Yeah.
Like, so, if the worst problem we have to deal with is people complaining about the price, but if you go into other Telegram groups, like, I'm telling you guys, this is the best, most level-headed community in all of crypto, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's not all about price. I mean, I didn't even get into it because of the price. I'm not like, oh man, I got in early. Like, I didn't. I got in pretty much at the price that it's at right now. I mean, I have not, it's not like I invested really early and I'm pumping my bags. It just comes down to like, this is something that I believed in. I took the step because I'm going to hopefully be a block producing node here as soon as I possibly can. I'm at the 3.5 million mark. I just need
y'all give Stash some votes. Don't take votes from me, but if you got extra IOST laying around, hand them to the Stash.
I would always love your votes, and I actually have one of the higher yielding nodes. I think like number 13 on the yield.
You're actually higher than me right now, but once like somebody comes and drops 1 million votes, that'll change.
It's true, yeah. So that's true, but and also I'm pretty confident I'm going to be moving up to tier 2 from tier 3.
Yeah.
The end of this quarter, so I've been pushing out a lot of content, but in general, I just want to get the information out there. I want to be able to help people if they have issues opening their wallets or things like that. And that's why I enjoy doing it, and not just for IOST, but for Bitcoin and other things as well.
My Telegram group is always open for people to come ask questions about IOST. Yeah. I will always answer.
Between me and BitBoy, I mean, we're going to know the answer to your question. If it's more technical, you can always maybe throw it my way if you need to, but, someone will be able to take care of it.
I didn't tell you, Stash. They were having a poll in my room on who has the better facial hair. Right now, you are leading 2-1. But the one vote for me was me, so I don't know if that really counts. I told them all that I hate them. Like somebody said, who was it that said it? Let's see. Old freaking Joel B. Pimpin. He said, quick poll, who has the better facial hair? 1 for Stash, 2 for beards. And then Joel put a 1, and then your boy Mr. Mosty put a 1, and then I put a 2, and I told them all I hate them. So, guys, I'm working on the beard. We actually have...
Beard's good, though, I mean...
I appreciate that. Tomorrow night on the podcast, now it won't be released until probably Friday or maybe Monday, but we actually have the 2017 World Facial Hair Goatee Category Champion on the podcast, Beards and Bitcoins. So a lot of people may not know you started growing your stash because you actually started a facial hair competition, right?
Dude, yeah. So the quick story is I actually produce music festivals. I used to. I've kind of gotten out of the game now. But the first, I did a folk one. So it was folk and bluegrass, this big music festival. And I had never done that genre. And I decided, okay, what kind of cool things could we have besides music? And a beard and mustache competition was one of them. And I didn't know how huge that scene was. I mean, and so then we did this, and there was like small prizes. But dude, we had people come out who were champions, like global champions to this little thing, and just blew me away. I grew this mustache because I'm like, all right, I'm going to grow a mustache out. And I bet you I can enter and win and get all my prizes back. That was my big plan. Seriously. That's what I was going to do. And these guys came in. I didn't even enter. I was like, dude, these guys put me to shame. This is pathetic. I can't believe I had this plan. Oh, you know?
Yeah.
And people were like, are you going to enter? I'm like, no, I don't even have a mustache. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm hoping to get some tips from that guy on how to grow the beard out. I've done a pretty good job over the last couple weeks of getting it like a little thicker and getting it even. So, and if you guys don't know, we've rebranded the podcast, Beards and Bitcoins. The new slogan is Beards and Bitcoins, a crypto podcast for the man's man. So we're not only going to be talking crypto, we're going to be talking about stuff that guys like. Because
I think that's cool, man.
As a lot of people know, I'm probably the most non-nerdy person in crypto. I love sports. I love to eat wings. I like, I don't play a lot of video games. I'm not like Stash. So I'm your normal American man's man. People in other countries would hate me because I'm so typical of Americans. So,
this may be true.
It may be true, but
he also doesn't eat vegetables. Let me put that in there.
I do not eat vegetables.
No vegetables.
No vegetables.
Just straight up meat.
Meat. Barbecue, man. I ate so much good barbecue when I was in Texas. I can't wait. Me and Jay Chains are actually going to start recording the podcast live. Probably right after we get back from the bus. We're waiting for our boy Gary Leland, who some of you guys know. He's setting up a studio in Dallas right now. I'm actually also starting another podcast with Gary. I can't give away too many details. We're in talks to start a second podcast that I'll be on, but me and Jay Chains are going to I'm going to go to Dallas every month, and we're going to record most of our shows live. So that'll be really exciting. But maybe we can get like a grill background, like, really manly stuff. You remember that show, The Man Show?
Yeah, of course.
That show was way out of bounds for today's times. But anyways, it'll be really fun. But speaking of rebrands, I want to get your opinion on something. Oh, Gary is actually in the live stream. What's up, Gary?
Gary's like, don't give away the secrets.
I was hoping he wasn't watching. I tried not to say too much.
He totally is.
I totally talks to myself. But so Gary, if you guys don't know, he's running I'm going to talk about this on the show tomorrow when I have a regular video as well. But Gary's doing a Bitcoin conference in Dallas in August. I think it's about the third week of August. It's called BitBlock Bloom. It's called BitBlock Boom. Boom. So if you guys are interested in going to that conference, there's a lot of, it's a Bitcoin maximalist conference for the most part. I mean, you've got different levels of maximalists, but it will be a Bitcoin-centric conference. If you guys are interested in that, make sure you guys go. I assume the website's bitblockboom.com. Gary can drop it in the comments. Yeah, 17th and 18th of August. So I'm going to try to make it. Jay Chains and I have a podcast conference we're going to right before that. But I'll give you guys some more details about it tomorrow on the video. But definitely want to shout out Gary. He's a cool dude. So
yeah, for sure. I would love to go to that too because I'm all about going to conference. But I'm gonna be in Jamaica, so
Jamaican me crazy.
I'm gonna be in Jamaica for a week, living it up, hanging out with the GF and stuff, and so that's gonna be fun.
Oh, I just gotten word in the comments that Chico Crypto sends his regards. We've got one of his people in here. That's awesome, my boy Chico.
I bet he does.
No hate to anybody in the space, really. Not for the most part.
Well,
but
dude, speaking of other personalities out there, we both did a recent news story about a possible Satoshi being revealed.
Yeah, we did.
What? So maybe we talk about, because I got maybe like 10 more minutes I can hang out here, but maybe we want to talk about this a little bit before we go, because this is a pretty interesting theory, and I've read all the theories, man.
Yeah, I have
all
too.
the guys over I've been in crypto since like late 2013, early 2014 is when I first bought in, and I've read all the stories and things since then, and there's been a lot of things like, it's this guy because of this, and some of them made sense because they're connected a few dots here and there. But this recent story about this dude, Paul, what's his name? Paul Calderon? What? No,
It is Paul Solatoshi Calder LaRue.
Yep, Paul Solatoshi, Calder LaRue. Well, Calder LaRue, yeah. So that's kind of like his whole crazy, name. And this guy, was a cryptography, software creator, an early one too, like doing it in the 90s.
He created something called TrueCrypt, and I think EM4 or E4M.
Yeah, E4M is like encryption for the masses was his first one, and TrueCrypt, they think that he made it because it's based on E4M, but they don't. It's not 100% certain.
And they say that Satoshi's Bitcoins are protected by that TrueCrypt. I don't know how they know that.
Right. I'm not sure either. I think that's I think that the reason why they're thinking that is because of this whole tie to Craig Wright and the Kleiman case, where Kleiman and Wright, who's dead now, right? So he was Craig Wright's partner, and there's this whole theory that they actually both worked for this guy who the theory is that they incriminated or helped bring to justice, because he was kind of like he turned into like this mob boss type of guy.
Cartel guy.
The cartel guy where he's running drugs, he's running guns, and he put out assassination hit attempts to people. And so, with some of the court case issues that we saw with Wright, where he's saying I can't release some of my information because it would incriminate like my ties to criminals. This whole case is crazy.
I tell you one thing I've not been able to figure out for years, really, that I've been looking into this, is Dave Kleiman. He's such an interesting. The way he died is so crazy. Like, he had a disease. I think it was a terminal illness, but that is not what he died of. He drank himself to death in his bedroom. I believe in his apartment. I don't think it was a house or apartment. When the police officers came into the house, they said that it was a grisly scene. Like, what they walked into was absolutely disgusting. However, they say that he died of just drinking himself to death, no foul play, but there was a bullet hole found in the wall. If you think about cartel, what is cartel? It's like mafia. It's something you would see in a mafia movie, like, I don't know, maybe they held him down and made him freaking drink till he died or something, or maybe there was a struggle and there was a bullet that got fired and then they made some deal with him, like, look, drink this, there's poison in it. I don't know. Like, I know it all sounds crazy, but it was a very, very, very suspicious death. So then you work in the fact this guy's a cartel leader. Supposedly, Dave Kleiman and Craig Wright have his hard drives and have his Bitcoin. So there's reason now. Now you've got motivation for this to occur. And, this is another really interesting thing to me. He was a government informant. He turned government informant. So if you look at the case of Ross Ulbricht, right? Silk Road. Ross Ulbricht, part of his sentence is he's not ever allowed to touch a computer again for the rest of his life, even once he gets out. And he's not allowed to, in the prison, they can use computers now for the most part. They can use, I see people I knew when I was back on Facebook that were in prison that would post selfies from prison. I was like, what the heck? But he's not ever allowed to. So, if the government somehow knew that this was the case, that this guy created Bitcoin, it's very possible they could have made some kind of deal for leniency with him to say, look, you can never touch this again. You can never claim ownership. You can never own a Bitcoin. I know it sounds crazy, but they can tell people they can't own a computer. And if that was part of his sentence, it's possible that he could be Satoshi, and yet we would never be able to have 100% proof. And it also provides the reason why Craig Wright can be have so much audacity and boldness in saying he's Satoshi, because he knows, and I've said this for a long time, the reason why he does that is because for whatever reason, whether it's Dave Kleiman or whether it was Hal Finney or whether it's this guy, he knows the real Satoshi can never come forward, and he's in control of the Bitcoins.
And that makes a lot of sense here, with that kind of fact. If maybe Craig Wright was a former employee and he did help incriminate Satoshi, on some of his, indictments, then he knows for sure this guy's in jail. He can't do anything to me. But he probably could easily have sneaked away with his hard drives with these files on there. But the thing about it is they're encrypted with Satoshi's encryption format, and he can't get at them. But he knows, right, if he can throw enough computer power at it over enough amount of time, that he might be able to crack them. And so, what he's saying basically in his legal documents is that that's the case with Kleiman's actual files, and that's the reason why you can't give the Kleiman estate their Bitcoin is because they're locked away in TrueCrypt files. But what those files are actually the original Satoshi ones, and he's trying to actually crack those.
Yep.
And I think that actually makes a lot of sense. And then when you pull in this whole Calvin Eyre connection, right? One of the things that really blew me away in that article was they were saying when you really pull that in, you can say, look, well, Calvin has gotten into mining and he has set up all these mining
but it's a front
of hardware where they say he's mining Bitcoin, but what he could really be doing is trying to use all that computer power to crack the encryption on these hard drives over a long period of time. And it would need something like that, like a huge mining farm over like years to be able to do something like that. And so that makes a lot of sense because you think about it, like the profit for something like that, if you can crack it over a certain amount of time, is going to be way more than if you're just mining Bitcoin with it over that same amount of time. I mean, it's the perfect cover to do it.
Well, and I kind of wonder about. It's mind blowing. I kind of wonder also about Calvin Eyre and maybe some kind of overlap that he could have with Paul LaRue because, he was the founder of Bodog, which was an illegal offshore gambling website.
Yeah, I remember Bodog.
I mean, it's Bovada now. I mean, it's still in use. I think he sold it, but this is a guy that there's no doubt you can't open an offshore gambling site where Americans can play and not have some kind of mob connections, organized crime connections. I don't think it's possible. So there might be some other connections. And I think for the first time ever, we may be getting some clarity on what is really going on with Satoshi. And I do love the fact that we will probably not ever be able to prove it for 100%. Once Craig Wright gets access to those and he cracks it, like by that point, everyone will kind of know what's going on, that he has access, but he wasn't the creator. And it took him that long to crack them. It's just, it's a very interesting story. And, we were talking about like whether or not this is, bad for Bitcoin if a cartel leader is who created it. And I told you this and I stand by it. Better a cartel leader than Craig Wright.
And when I said that, when you said that, I mean, I felt the exact same way. I'm over here like, well, then if it is a cartel owner who was a drug smuggler and gun runner, they're going to say, look, that's what Bitcoin's all about, and institutions won't want to get it. But what it comes down to is that, in my opinion, because and probably most of the cryptocurrency community's opinion, I would almost rather have a guy who's actually locked up in jail versus having Craig Wright being the actual 100% valid Satoshi Nakamoto.
Well, we know that he's not. We know he's not. Everyone knows that he's not.
Well, I mean, they've been like a comparison.
Lawsuit incoming.
They've been comparisons of his writing style and his forum posts versus the original Satoshi ones, and that's one of the other things that links Solatoshi, the Paul Solatoshi guy, to that, because a lot of his early stuff and forums that he did for the E4M program and other things, they match closer to what the original Satoshi ones are. So those things match where Craig's rights don't really match up at all. So they can do this kind of like analysis of speech and the way that you tie.
Why I said this, there are words used in that, like the word bloody. Like unless I'm talking about a steak, I would never say that. I would never say, have a bloody good day, chap. Cheers. That is European. I mean, obviously it's British, but that is not American writing. We would never write the word bloody in a sentence. We would never spell the word defense with a C or color with a U. Like those are words that he used that are not American words. And if it's not...
But you could argue the Australians do say that, and I think that makes sense too. But it just comes down to like comparing the two side by side. From what this article says is that it's more likely that Solatoshi has a closer connection to how he wrote things. And in his actual speech than Craig Wright.
The day after John McAfee said, "Look for the linguistic clues."
Right, exactly,
which is kind of weird.
That's what he's said that before too. He's also said it's in the proof is in the pudding of the way that they talk and the way that the stuff they left behind. And I think that's one of the quickest, the easiest ways to identify somebody is having a massive amount of their actual writings or things that they said, even if it's just typing, they can see and analyze those things through low level AI.
And you know, McAfee has mafia connections. So
yeah, true.
So all right, well, I'm going to let you go, Stash. I know you got to run. I really want to talk to you more. I would love to talk to you more, but I know I can't. But I do love you.
We could sit here literally and do this for like 2 hours, bro.
Oh, we could do this for 6 days.
I think for almost that long. I'm like, damn.
I know.
We're talking for like 2 hours. Son of a.
God, we didn't even get to talk about anything I want to talk about. That's not true. We talked about most of it. But we just got to great. Okay, let me ask you one last question.
Yeah.
One last question. I'm starting to heavily believe in an IOST rebrand for the name. A lot of people have brought this up. The name IOST may not be conducive to great marketing. What do you think about that? And do you think, if you think of AntShares, rebranding Neo, do you think the name IOST needs a rebrand?
That's actually a really good question. I think anything can be marketed if it's marketed well. And I think that's one of the things that, IOST could do a little bit better. I don't feel like the name is horrible when you use the acronym. I think the Internet of Services token is maybe not the most, it's very descriptive.
Yeah.
But it's not very catchy. But when it comes down to it, like, I don't know. It could be a better name, but I don't see that the name is really going to be something that could stop them. Because what we really want here, and what I think makes the most sense, in my opinion, is that nobody needs to even care what the token is named. They just need to use the apps and the programs and the things that people are building on top of it, because that's what crypto really needs to be. It needs to be a seamless experience where people are using it, and it doesn't really matter what the token is called. But so they can go back and forth and they can use it across multiple platforms. They're there for the experience, and that truly is what the Internet of Service token really should be about. It needs, what does it need to have, like a really catchy, flashy name like Tron or something and market really well? No, I think what it needs to do is it needs to work the best and power the dApps and the programs the best, and really be something that is in the background that, where the name is not that big of an issue, where the branding is not that huge of an issue.
Okay, what about that? This is my point here. I want to know.
I think the dApps need to speak for themselves.
What do you think about rebranding it to BitBoy Coin? we can use BBC. I heard that it's available.
BBC
or BCC, yeah. Whatever it is, whatever BitConnects was, we can take that. That's a total joke, guys. But yeah, I don't know, guys. It's something I've been thinking about recently. Talked about it a little bit with a few people, and I think it is something that the team is entertaining. I can't say for sure. I haven't spoken with them directly. I've heard kind of third hand or second hand, that maybe third hand, that it may be something, that they may actually consider. But I understand what you're saying. Obviously, the use case is important. We understand a decentralized platform is the best out there, is the most decentralized. But when you think about trying to push your way up coin market cap to get that attention, it could be something. I mean, if you look at what AntShares did when they rebranded Neo, it definitely did, give them more name recognition.
It definitely helped with that. But I think that what it comes down to is that you're pushing actual products, and your products are connected to your chain. People who are in the know of cryptocurrency, which are the people who will be trading it and speculating on it, the people who are really doing those types of things, they're going to know. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that your product should speak for itself. It shouldn't be all about a name. We've seen that with Tron, where they have a product. It's they're working on it, but they made some good acquisitions. I think IOST definitely just needs to get the products out there that really speak for themselves, and they utilize the token in the most efficient way, and it just becomes the best way to build something using a blockchain. And so,
coming from CryptoStache, who refuses to put clickbait in his titles.
This is true, man.
This lines up perfectly with your belief system, and I'm
sorry. I try so hard. I try to learn to be the best, but I'm still not that good at it. I'm getting better. I'm getting better at it.
It's okay. I'm sorry, guys. I have to clickbait people. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
Bitcoin to 18,000. I mean, the article said it, The article said it. I'm just reporting the news, So, all right, Stash. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's been fun. Sorry about any audio issues we had. I obviously did not have my AirPods, which I'm going to find tonight. I swear.
Good luck on that, brother.
Yeah, I'm going to need it. So, all right. We will see you guys later. BitBoy out.
Stash that crypto, friends.